Guilty of crime.
Hello, everybody. What's up? Good to see you guys. Come on in. I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. I know I've only been here one day this week, but now it's already Thursday, and it's showtime. What's up, everybody? Come on in. Gang. Guilty of Crime. What's up? Hit that like button, y'all. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can, and smash that like button, guys. Come on. What's up? I know lots of notifications. I just got back and I'm scheduling my shows and I'm releasing new videos. So I hear you. A poem says, I'm gonna need a blackboard for all the upcoming shows. I get. Yeah, well, today I smashed them all out. So smash that like button and hit all notifications so you don't miss my live streams. All right, every day, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. What's up, Anna from Florida? How you doing? Good to see everybody rolling on in. Rolling, gang. What's up, Jennifer Blair? How you doing? Diamond Paw, Teresa, how you doing? Indiisham, what's up? One love. Crystal Burns says F. I would say F. It's hot out here in Cali. Boy, is it hot. I'm ready to be back in the pool. All right, guys, what's up? Come on in. I know people are going to roll in and say, what did I miss? So I'm going to go ahead and put this on up. And Summer Wells, guys. Now, I know it was the 4-year anniversary this last weekend. I believe it was either Monday or Sunday. We'll get into the dates, but it happened. It's 4 years. Where is Summer Moon Utah Wells? Which I didn't even realize that was her full name. I always said Summer Wells. And then we started looking into this. There's an age progression, which we'll talk about in a bit. What's up, everybody? Come on in. Since says I missed everything. It's hot in Florida. I imagine it's hot and humid in Florida. At least it's not humid here in Cali. I gotta say that. Yeah, Maryland, that's a whole beast there. Las Vegas, though. Shout out to Las Vegas. What's up, Lacey? How you doing? I see some folks in here that I see all the time. Good to see you. You say I'll never forget summer. I don't think any of us will. There's a lot to talk about today. Lots of new content, especially because the 4-year anniversary is here. Don Wells is talking. I have an interview from Don and Candace Wells from last year, and you guys are going to see a stark contrast from last year to this year to what the heck is going on. Now, I have covered the Summer Wells case, but whenever I covered it, it was a missing children episode. And so today I'm covering Summer Wells, 4 years gone. Things get creepier. Don Wells and family speaks out. So what's up? We're going to start from the beginning. Oh, Don Wells. What's up, Cheryl? Oh, Don Wells. Unfortunately, I believe the only place we can find summer is in our hearts. Thank you for saying that, The Real Gemini. Say a prayer for Summer and all the missing children that are still out there that we have not found. Thankfully, yesterday, Claire Bell was recovered. Not such a happy ending, however, because her mom ditched her. Her mom dumped that little 3-year-old girl on the side of the road, and I bet she was expecting the worst to come. I'm actually going to cover that also. I have to cover that case. It's ongoing. Her mom was supposed to be in court on Friday, or supposed to be in court on Friday, which is tomorrow. So I'll update you guys on that. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay. Hit the like button, subscribe, and get the notifications. You'll find out. Yeah, say a prayer for Summer Wells. Let's just stop. Let's start at the top. What's up, you guys? Good to see you. Come in. Get yourself a membership. Good to see you, Sadie's mama. I saw you today. I know you're at the doctor's. Prayers for you. Yes, dump the little girl and the dog. Who does that to their children, and who does that to their dog? This lady is one sick lady, and we need to be looking at her. All eyes need to be on her so that she stays off of social media. All right. Now, get back to Summer Wells. Tracy says, I live in Elizabethton, Tennessee. I don't know if I'm saying that right. About an hour from Summer's home. This case has driven me crazy. I always disclose I'm a psychic medium. I hope I'm welcome here. Absolutely. Of course, everybody's welcome here. You can agree to disagree if you don't agree with topics or discussions, but as long as we all do it nicely, right? All right. So welcome, Tracy. Good to see you. Good to see all of you. Drop your child at a police station, fire department, and I say I can't do this anymore. Something's better than what's happening with these children. Summer Wells, guys, if you know nothing about this case, here we go. Today, 4 years later. All right. Now we're a couple days off. June 15th, 2021. That this happened, the disappearance of Summer Wells. Today's June 19th, 2025. 4 years later, Summer Wells still missing. The case of Summer Wells, the young girl, as you see on the screen, who vanished from her home in Hawkins County, Tennessee, June 15th, 2021. All right, now this case remains very active and emotionally charged for the last 4 years. We don't get much of a there's not much of a downtime. Thank God for this case. Somebody's always talking, looking, doing something in this case. Thankfully, all right. Now, authorities in Hawkins County, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation (TBI), which you well know from the Sebastian Rogers case, they continue to investigate new information and or statements about this case. Now, they've only been sifting through, they have not only been sifting through 6,500 tips and leads over the years, but they're also actively countering misinformation propagated on social media. That sucks, doesn't it? That has to be tough for the parents, or any of the victims related. I don't know how much I believe in those parents, but they are her parents. She is missing, and we're going to talk about that today. Good to see you, Cheeky. Congratulations for winning something yesterday. I think you won the Foxy Box. Good to see you, Ava. How you doing? Signing in. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. There's so much misinformation and information out there. It's ridiculous. We didn't even say the misinformation that's out there. And I think, that comes from people wanting there to be more leads, more information. It comes from people discussing the case and not just sticking to the facts, but just going off on these tangents. And then police have to sift through those things too. So that's how it goes in these cases. So what's up? Welcome, everybody. Good to see you. Come on in. June 15, 2021. All right. That's the day this began. Summer Wells was reported missing from her home on Bell Hill Road in Beach Creek community of Hawkins County in Tennessee. That's a mouthful. Now, we're going to listen to some of the family members talk today. They recall the last time she was seen. This is important, you guys. This is important. Another inside the house, another disappearance from a house. Remember, children don't disappear from your house. Children don't disappear from anywhere. Something has to have happened. All right. So Summer Wells was playing inside of her home. Make that make sense. All right. Some reports suggest that she was heading to the basement to play before she vanished from sight. She disappeared. Later that evening, local authorities, included Hawkins County Sheriff Office, were alerted of her disappearance. Now, the critical night, an endangered child alert was issued. That is not an Amber Alert. It's an endangered child alert, signaling the beginning of an exhaustive search effort that would span for 4 years. Now, the immediate aftermath in the hours that followed her disappearance, TBI and local law enforcement sprang into action. By 12:07 a.m. on June 16th, they did the endangered child alert, and less than 12 hours later, an alert was then upgraded to the Amber Alert. Now, the upgrade underscored the urgency of the situation and the scale of the search that was about to commence. That's still going, despite the rapid response, the challenging terrain of that area, including steep and densely wooded stretches along Ben Hill Road, significantly hampered the initial search efforts. You guys, this is crazy. This is crazy. I mean, this is just rinse and repeat type of deal, right? These cases just keep on happening. Why do these cases keep happening, and why are we not much further with any of these cases? Are we not learning from the other cases? Are we not learning from the signs? I don't know. I don't know how these cases still keep happening and no trace. Now, take a look at this picture. Look at all the pictures of Summer Wells. Look at the little pictures. Look at the, most of them are around the same age. Some where she has longer hair, some where they cut it all off. But if you look on the upper right hand corner, that is missing and exploited children, and that is it's a picture of her to be older, to look like how she might look 4 years later. All right, so many law can't keep up. And right, what are we looking at here? Because we're right there. Sebastian Rogers is in Tennessee. We have the same type of deal. He's not found. He went missing from his home. How do kids disappear? Age progression. Yeah, that took the words out of my mouth. Thank you. All right. You say a sad accident, panic and dispose of the body. Interesting, but why haven't they been able to find that? Where is TBI and what are they missing? All right. Good to see you, Carrie. Psychic Amelia. I think it's the father, not much the father. All right. We're going to get into that today. So, just to get to the backstory, I wanted you to know this little girl, Summer Wells, went missing from inside of her home. Make that make sense, other than the fact that you have to crawl under things to get into certain areas. All right. So June 15, 2021, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. was the last time Summer Wells was seen at her home. All right. Next day, we got the endangered child alert. Then early afternoon, the Amber Alert's issued. June 17th, search teams encountered difficulties due to the rough terrain and dense foliage. What do they think? She got out and went into the terrain? So again, we're repeating ourselves. This is, again, like the Jack and Millie case. Investigators urge residents to look at any surveillance footage or trail cameras. As you know, nothing. 6,500 tips later, and we still have nothing. We're not any closer to what we were 4 years ago. How is that, you guys? How can that possibly be? I don't know. I don't know. All kinds of possibilities, but how many possibilities can you have inside of one home with two parents being there? I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. So we're going to make it make sense that children don't disappear, and they sure don't disappear from in their homes. It's rare. Yes, that's happened. Sometimes people have been kidnapped right from their own window, but I do not believe that this is the case. All right. Summer Wells was in the house for 2 minutes and poof, she's gone, and right outside his grandma's trailer. What can you see in the backyard and driveway? All right. Now, calm chaos. Love your name. I don't think that she's still alive. If she were still alive, I don't even want to imagine the horrors that she's gone through. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. Summer knew every inch of that property and kids don't vanish. All right, real Gemini, what's up? It is your season. It's Gemini season. Happy Gemini season if you're a Gemini, everybody. Come on in. What's up? We have 104 people in chat. Chat is not that busy today. So we have lots of time to talk and discuss. And if you have a question or you want your post pin, just put on there QQQ and go ahead and ask. All right. What's up, Goldilocks? Good to see you. Good to see you, Tracy. All you guys, good to see you. If you can, help support the channel. Get yourself a membership. Hit the like button. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Super Sticker, or you can sign up for our Ghost. Now, the ghost.org sign up, I'm going to drop right here. All right. So there it is. Account.ghost/sign up and look for Guilty of Crime. All right. Now, we're going to get into new content. You know, I don't come on here to bring old content. I like to get the facts and what's happening. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's take this down and start with Summer Wells, 4 years missing Tennessee girl. Summer Wells, I'm sorry, 4 years since Tennessee girl went missing. All right. Summer Wells has been missing for 4 years. Police are unsure if she's wandered off or kidnapped. Family believes she was abducted and taken down a hill behind their home. Did you hear that? Family thinks she was abducted and taken down a hill in their home, behind their home. Now, why would they think that? Where would that come from? You guys tell me where that would come from, unless maybe someone was in that predicament and they took Summer behind the hill in the back of the home and disposed of her body. All right. I'm interested to know if her brothers were interviewed. Well, stay tuned because we're going to show you who was interviewed and what's to date. Yeah. Why so detailed? What did they search there? Did the dogs get a scent on that hill behind your home? We're going to listen to that today. All right. That's crazy. We're going to go through this stuff here. We're not going to watch this News Nation one because it was from 2 years ago. We've got things up to date and comparisons that I can only imagine doing here with you. I see the way other cases present, or other channels present this, and I say, I want to do it like this. So I'm excited today to present this case and get Summer Wells' name out there. All right. So we know 4 years, June 15, 2021, body believed to be missing of 2 year. Oh, wow. Another one. See, it just keeps happening. Now, this one, mother Candace Wells said, I yelled downstairs for a couple of times and I didn't get an answer, which was unusual because she always answers me. We're going to hear from Candace Wells also. There's some videos in here about Summer, which we'll get to. New content, Summer's disappearance. Police still searching for answers. All right, 4 years later, police are searching in the Summer Wells disappearance. Police had been told about a pickup truck, guys, that was reportedly seen in the area around the time when the 5-year-old Summer Wells vanished. All right, have you guys heard of the pickup truck? They only know it's either a red or maroon Toyota truck with ladders on the back. Since there aren't many clues, if police do end up finding the truck, they still aren't sure if it's connected to her disappearance or not. But Wells' father, Don, said he won't stop praying that Summer Wells is found. All right, we're going to listen to that today. Police also had a tip from a neighbor in 2021 who claimed that she and her children heard a scream about 1 hour before Summer Wells vanished. The witness said, wish every day that when I heard that scream, I didn't try and dismiss it. Does that remind you of anything, guys? See something, say something, and do something. Okay, now it's not always ideal to get in the middle of things. You see something and you say something, but we don't always do something. And the reason we don't always do something is because things happen sometimes and people want you out of their business. They don't want you calling the cops because you're a neighbor. But that is our duty, to see something, say something, and do something. This lady that heard a scream from Summer Wells an hour before now wishes that she would have said something. All right. So listen up to this, guys, because again, this is all new information. Right now, we're going to hear all of this stuff. Anything new coming out, and then we'll flash back. All right. Now, unfortunately, this tip didn't lead any to police any closer to the 5-year-old. We have hope always, but there's not much hope in this world. We have to trust God that there's hope in eternal life in heaven. He said, that's Don Wells. Summer's parents were never named as suspects in the case, you guys, and they both passed a polygraph test. All right. However, Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said that everyone is still a person of interest. Don Wells says we're stripped away from all of our kids. Did you know that? They don't have any more kids, guys. Parents told News Nation that they were frustrated with the investigation. Candace Wells and her husband, Don Wells, believe their daughter was kidnapped and didn't just walk away. All right. So we're going to take a look at this age progression here. And we're going to, let me see if I can, I don't know if that's a video, but here's the age progression. Let me make it a little bigger so you can see. And then we're going to get into, I don't want you to leave because we're going to listen to what's happening now and the new audio of Don Wells. What's up, Michelle? Good to see you, my friend. Calm Chaos. I believe something ain't right here, and I'm going to tell you what it is today. Most of you haven't seen my coverage on Summer Wells yet because it was way back when, and now you're here. So take a look at that age progression. That looks like many little girls probably in the area. This case has always had me confused. Just saying, well, I'm glad you're here. I am so glad you're here. Wow, I can't believe it's been 4 years. All right, take a look at these pictures. Age progression, little angel there, another little angel. If she is still alive, I don't believe she is. But again, missing and exploited children. We love that foundation, all right? Summer Wells, all things. Let's work together. There you go. Justice for Summer Wells. There is that family. Ugh, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. What happened to Summer Wells, guys? What happened? We're going to talk about that. At the very end, we're going to do a whole discussion on what happened to Summer Wells with a question mark, okay? All right, so beautiful little angel, Amber Alert. Nothing's come of it. Look at here. All right, now we don't know how these people took care of her, but we see how they took care of their house and their property and inside of the house. It didn't seem that safe for any child. Just saying. All right, and you know, I hate to say something like that, but you know, these parents, even though they're not people of interest, I do believe that property was very disgusting, and I called Jack and Lily Summer Wells 2.0. Now you know. All right, now you know. All right, the oldest, Tiffany says the oldest boy is looking for a home, and it's sad. It's sad they had a poster made like he was being sold on a declutter site. If you have that picture, I didn't see that picture, Tiff. Please do email it to me. All right. All right. Let's take a look now at what we have that's new in the case. What happened to Summer Wells? We're going to go back over that after. This is the father of missing 5-year-old speaks out. I have another one here. And oh, this is from 7 days ago. We're not going to go back to the old school. We're going to go all to the new. So family clings to hope 4 years later. All right, let's get into that. I don't want to do the old Don Wells ones. We're going to do one with both of the parents, but everything here today is new. So do me a favor, y'all. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. And if you have the means to donate a membership, like Foxy Amazon, please do help support the channel. Yes, Foxy, Candace is a piece of work. That's being nice. All right, that's being nice. So let's see what the family clings to, what hope they cling to, and what they say now. All right, searching for Summer 4 years later, guys. Let's go.
June 15th will mark 4 years since Summer Wells went missing from her Hawkins County home. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agents have followed up on thousands of leads in Summer's disappearance over the last 4 years, but there still is no sign of her. News 5's Kristen Kwan recently sat down with the Wells family to talk about Summer's disappearance.
Dawn and Candace Wells, Summer's parents, say it's been a tough 4 years. The investigation is still hard for them to talk about, but they tell me they're doing the best they can and do believe they will see Summer again. The bench here in front of the Wells' home in Beach Creek, a loving tribute to a little girl who vanished from her home. Summer Wells' father, Don Wells, says the past 4 years have been a nightmare.
It's been really tough.
Wells says he's heartbroken.
And don't forget, guys, we are going to do the full interview. We're going to go over the interview, and then we're going to listen to DD talk about things getting creepier. And you guys know how much we love Deception Detective, but that is not the bulk of our episode today. The bulk of our episode is Summer Wells gone, 4 years missing. Don Wells speaks out, family, Candace Wells. We're going to look at all the new stuff, and then we're going to go backwards a little and talk about what the heck happened to Summer Wells. And Shadow, I've been following the interview room. Absolutely did an interview with Hunter the teenager. That was, yes, hidden, what do you call that? Interview room is great. They are great. Absolutely. If someone has that and you want to send it to me, I'll take a look. That is not the focus of today, but this is a big case. All right. What was the weird video of her with the car sleep? I don't know. All right, let's keep going. In my opinion, passing a polygraph means nothing. Carol, you're right. Whenever someone says I'll take a polygraph, people know how to evade it. Some people know how to pass it. Some people pass it because they're on something. DRUGs, right? I'll leave that up. All right, let's listen to 4 years later real quick. Just a quick recap.
Broken, frustrated, just trying to take it day by day. And he still believes Summer was kidnapped from their home.
She was there 1 minute and the next she wasn't.
Wells says Summer's disappearance, on top of the cruelty they face from social media and the public, has made life even more difficult.
The social media groups would attack anybody that we knew, any employer that we worked for. And so it made it really hard for us to obtain employment and all these things. And but there's been people that's helped us, along the way, and we really appreciate that. It's, for sure.
He's also frustrated with Hawkins County law enforcement and the Department of Children's Services. Dawn and Candace ultimately signed over their rights to their 3 boys to the state.
And tore our house apart 11 times. I've never even heard of that before. I mean, to me, I don't know. It really hurt. The whole thing has really hurt me and Candace a lot, but we're still hanging in there for our kids and trying to do what's right. And then holding out hope that Summer will be found.
Wells clinging to his faith and has a message for his children.
Just that we love them very much and we'd like to see them come home.
Now, remember, they don't have their children in custody anymore. All of this has resulted in that. I don't think they were taking care of the children the way they should. I see them and I feel like they're very worn down. And many people, after something like this happens, they seem to find God or have a coming to Jesus moment. It's really weird. They've changed quite a bit from 4 years ago. Candace at least has emotions. Rebecca, you know why I think he doesn't have emotions? Look at those blue eyes and look at those blue dot or those black dots. He's got, I don't know if he's taking pills or what he's on at this point, but Don said he gave up the children because it was unsafe. YouTubers getting up on his hill. We'll take a look at this. Thank you, Tiff, for sending that. I'm going to show you where one of his children are anyway, and it's very sad. It does look like they're selling their children, like they're up on a community post and you're giving your children away. Thank you for that, Tiff. Let's watch this.
We really want to see them, involved in our church and worship our God in our church.
Kristen Kwan, News 5, WCYB.
All right. Age progression there, worn down. Every time I see them, they're worn down a bit. And his emotion, it lacks. All right. It's been 4 years. Some people I see has been 20 years and they're still crying and very upset. So everybody's a bit different. All right. Let me show you the picture of Josie. I didn't even know that was his name. All right. So thank you again for that, Tiff. There you go. And maybe some people think that Summer Wells was, in fact, sold. Many people think that. All right. Just like when they go to prison, everybody finds Jesus. It's awesome. Every time somebody finds Jesus, just wish they find him before a tragedy. Absolutely. Now, we say that about Summer to say this. This is their son. All right. This is their son. And I'm going to take Tiff's word. This is their oldest son that they have on this Tennessee Kids Belong, America's Kids Belong family. Josie, look at this. This is their son here. All right. And you can kind of see the eyes. Summer Wells, I guess this is Summer Wells' brother, and they're giving him away. Well, I don't know. Adopting him, is that the right word? Josie loves exploring in the woods and looking for his forever family. Josie's a mature young man who has ambitious life goals. He does well in school and he's a hard worker. Josie's interested in being an engineer or a biologist. He's well rounded and can get along with anyone. They use his name a lot. Josie can thrive in any setting. In his free time, Josie plays video games and basketball, as well as gaming on his phone. One of his favorite treats is fraps from McDonald's. Josie loves being in the woods and in nature. He likes going fishing and camping. He's also likes being on water, boating. Josie loves animals. He likes all kinds of music, including pop, country, and rap. What does this look like to you? Would you, wow, that's wow. Yes, wow, just wow. What the AF? Could you imagine having your child on a website and somebody giving them away? It sounds like a puppy ad, right? I couldn't even look at that. I look at that and it makes me want to protect him and bring him anywhere but there. Can you imagine having somebody look at this child and think, ooh, what can I do with this child, Josie? Now, think about the Zulocks. Remember, we covered the Zulock family where these people were adopting young kids and graping them. Remember the two gay men, the gay Zulock family that were bringing in boys and graping the heck out of those boys? If you don't remember that, that's what I imagine happening with something like this. Somebody seeing this guy and saying, this is perfect for me. This is great. I could bring Josie home for whatever I need. This is disgusting. Actually, I'm sure that this site is great for people that are looking for children, but I gotta say a prayer that the right family gets this child for the right reasons, man. This is I'm glad I saw this, but I almost wish I didn't. All right, let's see what this is real quick. See if he talks or anything. I don't
Hi, I'm Josie and I'm 15 years old. I like to play basketball. I like to play video games. I like the outside. I like biology. I used to play basketball a couple of times, but I like country music. I like drag racing. I play Fortnite. I used to play a little bit of Apex, then I stopped. But I'm gonna play Fortnite and computer science.
You had your own TikTok or YouTube channel. What would it be about?
Gaming.
You could have all the animals you wanted. What would you have?
Dog or some type of fish.
What makes you feel happy?
Just having fun.
How do you show people that you love them?
I show them respect.
How do you stay hopeful during hard times?
Just like not try to.
Well, let me answer that real quick. Allie Callie, I came across this because I have wonderful mods. And Tiff, who also is the merchandise person as well, say thank you to her. She deep dives every case, even the cases that we don't present. Tiff deep dives them. So that's how we ran across them. We knew that the children were taken away from the Wells family. So guys, this is the oldest Wells child. This is Summer Wells' brother. And they're giving him away, so to speak, on this site that gives someone the icks. That gives me the icks. When I look at this and I see someone shopping, so to speak, I'm like, wait a minute. Does someone that has nefarious ideas, are they going to get a hold of him? Yeah, it's here. Thank you, Tiff. Love you. Love you for that. Love the hard work that you do. Yeah. Look at guys. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I had no idea. Love you, Josie. He will be the first of the oldest son to tell what happened to baby Summer Wells. All right, let's keep going. This is Summer Wells' brother on a AmericaKidsBelong.org project for somebody to adopt him.
Think about it. I try to walk away.
What are you most proud of yourself for?
Not easily getting mad.
What's the best advice anybody's given you?
Just walk away. Just walk away, like when someone's like trying to get to you, stuff like that.
What is something that most people don't know about you that you want to Make sure the world does know.
I don't talk much.
Is it hard for you to open up to people?
At first, yeah, but after I started getting to know them, it's not hard.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
Become a biologist.
Now, I gotta say, I agree with you that every state has foster kids up for adoption, but I do true crime. And because of the true crime that I consume all the time, I know what happens to children that go up for adoption, and I know what happens to older children that go up for adoption. So yes, it's been going on for years, and so has a lot of nefarious parents doing nefarious things to children that they adopt. And one that comes to mind is the Zulocks. All right. Naomi, thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting the channel. VW, Girl Mel, go adopt him. If you can adopt that boy right now, save him from a nefarious family like the Zulocks getting a hold of him. Yes, I know people have adopted for years, and I appreciate that sentiment. But man, go. If you guys can adopt that guy, go adopt him and save him from what might happen. Debbie says, hey, Jay, hot summers in Texas, but I love winters. So what's a girl to do? What's a girl to do? Come over to Guilty of Crime and be inside with the air and watch us. All right, Summerwell's brother, let's finish this up. If you seriously want to adopt a child, you can go right on here to americaskidsbelong.org project, and I'll drop the link here in chat. All right, let's finish this up so we can get to the new interview.
What do they work on?
On animals and like how we live together, stuff like that.
What are some things that you picture doing with the family?
Hang out, watch TV, talk.
All right, so everything's not bad in this world, guys, but when you consume true crime day in and day out, yes, you're going to think of something that is not so happy about an adoption center. Now, this was just last year. I just want to show you the Wells parents together, and then we'll get to the new Dawn and what's creepy about it. Josie is a superstar. Yes, if somebody has a really good family that is looking to adopt, please go over to that site and share it with your friends, share it with your husband, share it with your wife, and be serious about adopting a child. All right. Calm Chaos is so possible. Adoptive parents go through a check or screen. Guess what? Can I tell you something? I adopted Reese. And in order for me to adopt Reese, I had to go through a full screening, background check. Everything in my life was checked on. I went through to the judge. I have a picture of me adopting Reese with the judge. She was only 4 months old. The judge said that was the youngest she's ever seen anybody adopt a baby that was in a same-sex couple that was just born. It usually takes much longer, but I had to be an adoptive parent to my daughter. So there you go. I do know about that. I've done it. I've had to do that also. Again, my son. Remember, I have 2 children that I never birthed. I did not birth my children. My wife did. All right. All right. Good to see you guys chatting. Thank you so much. Good to see you. I don't know how to say your name. Ilva, maybe? I hope I'm saying that right. All right. Good to see you, Sadie's mama. Yes, it's very awesome. I love my children. I do anything for my children. And everybody and anybody will tell you that. My life is for my children and my family, period. And yes, this system is corrupt AF. All right. Ashton Lee, good to see you. Yes, I'm back. I'm back, baby. I'm back. All right. My family don't need any more kids. All right. In shape of the heart, J Mod Chat, hoping to late. Hey, you just got here. We're all good. All right. The ad for adoption does. Last seen, Summer Wells right there. Let's go. All right. Thank you guys for being here. I hope I bring enough energy to you guys today for everybody. All right. If you're low on energy, come in. Come on. I'll give you some of mine. All right. Let's go.
walking from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community. Hours later, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation would issue an endangered child alert for her. That would later turn into an Amber Alert.
To this day, law enforcement still has not located Summer Wells and are not any closer to finding her. News Channel 11's Ansley Daniels spoke with Summer's parents.
Let's go.
We have pushed investigators for months to learn about new details or updates in this case. What we do know is that her family continues their search to bring Summer home. I spoke with both Dawn and Candace Wells in Kingsport at a place with deep meaning to Summer's disappearance. Borden Park is anything but quiet this time of year. But 3 years ago, it was filled almost weekly with people praying for Summer Wells.
I see all these families, you know, with their kids and how much they enjoy them and stuff. And we were stripped away from all our kids. All our kids have been kidnapped from us by
I don't think they've been kidnapped, sir. I think that you didn't do such a good job and you didn't fight hard enough to get them back. Sabrina, thank you. And I gotta say, I don't think therapy is a bad thing. I think we need to change the therapy connotation of therapy to say everybody should have therapy. Everybody as a child should get therapy. When you're an adult, get therapy. Therapy's good. Therapy makes you to understand who you are and be comfortable with yourself and others. So therapy is a great thing. Therapy is not something that you should get just because you were abused or went through something. Therapy is just good to know yourself and others and learn how to compromise and learn how to love better. That's what I'm saying. So therapy, yes for therapy, no matter what. They've been kidnapping my ass, you say. All right. Yes, I agree, Carol. There is definitely documented cases that I can tell you where the children ended up in just as shitty of an environment, if not worse. And you know it. With all my energy, I'm going to preach about therapy. All right, let's listen.
DCS, and who knows? We're not sure about Summer, but we know about where our boys are at.
While the prayer vigils are now few and far between, Dawn and Candace Wells haven't stopped praying that their daughter Summer will be found.
We have hope, always. I mean,
yep.
But there's not much hope in this world. It's like, you know, we have to trust God that there's hope in eternal life.
There's God.
Summer was reported missing on June the 15th of 2021.
We know that she was taken off her property, and we know she was taken away in a vehicle, or they would have found her in the area.
Now they
if
know.
She was somewhere in the area. But who's responsible for her? We don't know.
I asked Dawn and Candace when was the last time they heard from investigators.
We haven't lately at all. It's been a while, over a year, I think. I haven't talked to any law enforcement at all. I tried to talk to the FBI agent about it, but that didn't go anywhere.
Dawn says he feels that he and his wife Candace were targeted by the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office.
They intimidated us, they belittled us, and done everything they could amidst all the chaos. And then,
all right, I just want you guys to see, just so I know I'm not just looking at this like that. Look at those blue eyes, man. Blue eyes give it away when you're. It doesn't even matter if you're taking pain medication. I see a sea of blue and a big black dot. I always thought that these parents were on something. And when I say something back then, I say METH. All right. He gives me tweaker vibes, guys. I'm sorry, but I have to say it.
CPS was there doing the same thing.
When asked about how he thinks about Summer's disappearance 3 years later, Dawn spoke about a Department of Children's Services investigation.
They said somebody had called and said that we was giving our kids loaded guns to play with. And so they closed the case June 14th, which is something CPS does not do. They don't just close cases. So it's really odd and mystifying why they closed the case June 14th. And then 24 hours later, Summer's gone.
Summer's mother, Candace, sat in for part of our interview, but got up after a few questions.
She was going to try, but her emotions were just too much.
The last update in the Summer Wells case from law enforcement was an age-progressed photo released in June of last year. This image was released by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. If you have any information about the whereabouts of Summer Wells, call 1-800-TBI-FIND. That number is right there on your screen.
All right, guys. Now we're going to fast forward to a couple days ago. Let me stop this. All right, now we're going to listen. This just happened on June 12th. This is 7 days ago. So I did not get to stream yet the 4 years after Summer Wells went missing. Now we've fast forward in time, and there we go. Jay, way worse. Yeah, probably. I'm just being nice about it. All right. They said Summer had OD'd before she disappeared. And what was up with them just shaving her hair off, man? I mean, that alone seems abusive. I remember they did that with the children. They did that with the little girl. I can't think of the name right now, but I feel like that's a form of punishment. I don't know. Summer is a pretty little girl. We don't know about Summer. All right. 4 years later, this is 7 days ago. Yes, the Turpin family, absolutely. I remember the Turpin family, and a lot of the children ended up in really bad places after that. That might be. You're probably right, because who would do that? Why do you just shave her hair off like that? All right, here we go, guys. 7 days ago. I hope it plays.
It's been really tough. The social media groups would attack anybody that we knew, any employer that we worked for. And so it made it really hard for us to obtain employment and all these things. But there's been people that's helped us, along the way, and we really appreciate that, for sure. But, we're just hoping, God will turn it all around.
All right, where'd this go? Why did this stop? Do you hold the hope that Summer will be found one day? All right, there you go. That's the questions they're asking. Do you hold hope that Summer will be found one day?
We hope and pray all the time for that, and we hope so. She could be anywhere. We don't know. Only, we just got to hang on to that hope and just do our best to.
Carla, what's up?
Do what's right.
Yep. Do you stay in the area in the hopes that she'll come back? Do you think that's why?
Many times I've wanted to go back out west and everything else, but this whole thing has tied us down right here. We can't do anything, not really. This whole thing's tied us down to this area for 4 years now.
It's tied them down to this area. Have you heard anything recently from police? Let's see what he says.
No, I don't think that's really kind of a tough question. For one thing, law enforcement and to me, it seems like law enforcement and me and her as parents or whatever do not get along.
You think they don't get along because the police maybe suspect them? It's very interesting how he is playing the victim here. Why is he playing the victim here? I mean, we know what we saw with the house and with them and how they've acted and how they act. And Gloria, your membership is gone because maybe it didn't get renewed. Check your email and see if you can get that renewed. Thank you. I hope you can. All right, let's keep going. This guy, I think they're just lazy and they didn't do enough. They didn't fight to get their children back. You hear him saying he's tied down to this area. Well, when you get tied down, you try to get yourself out of it. You don't just sit there and play the victim and say, I'm just tied down to it when you're not doing anything.
They see things quite differently, kind of insulting and insinuating. And to me, it seems like they kind of, look down on you a lot. I mean, it hasn't been very good. I mean, they tore our house apart 11 times. Why? Why? That just don't even make sense. They searched and tore our house apart 11 times. I've never even heard of that before. I mean, to me, I don't know. It really hurt. The whole thing has really hurt me and Candace a lot, but we're still hanging in there for our kids and trying to do what's right. And holding out hope that Summer will be found.
Blah, blah, blah. You say, does it give you hope that the investigation is not cold? And yeah, maybe you just need to refresh, Gloria. I know
they can only do so much. I think there was a lot more going on during the Biden administration. They're just starting to scratch the surface of.
What?
Hopefully they'll continue with a lot of this investigative work. And
what is he talking about there? Did he just say what the Biden administration? What is he talking about? We're going to listen to this next. What the heck? What's up, Melissa? Good to see you. And don't worry, if you got yourself a membership, it will show up. Check your inbox and your email. It should have updated. It will. It will.
We've heard stories, that of things going on and higher ups and stuff, but lawsuits and other things, but I don't know.
The secret door. Do you still believe that she was taken by somebody? Don't worry, we're gonna break this down next with the tweaker talk.
Well,
Okay.
we know she was. You know what I mean? She was there one minute and the next she wasn't. Down the dog trail. I think so, because of that search dog. And I've said it before. That search dog.
Yeah,
when it first smelled her clothing or whatever it was, that dog went straight down that dog trail and then lost its scent by the roadside. And I don't know. One policeman said that. I don't know. There's a couple different things. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's hard
So
to
this
say.
Saturday marks 3.
All right, how about we start guessing then? All right, let's stop sharing this. Now we're gonna go with a little bit of eye candy for you ladies that like Deception Detective. And he says somehow it got creepier. And guess what? Somehow I believe that it is creepier. This last interview, I mean, at least they had a little bit of fight in them 4 years ago, but now, wait, what? I don't know what's up with that basement, though. You guys tell me what you know. We've gone through videos of in that house, and that house is disgusting.
Yard is one of the last places Dawn Wells' daughter Summer was known to be.
We love and miss her very much, and wish that she could come home very much, because she was kind of the bossy boss around here, and we just miss our children, man. We had 4 children running around here like crazy.
The then 5-year-old has been at the center of an Amber Alert since June 15th of 2021.
It's been a while, but we finally have an update on the disappearance of Tennessee tot Summer Wells.
Yes, and what's up, Edith? I think you just post at the time, right as I read someone else's comment. Good to see you. You're so funny. All right, let's keep going. Paranoid ass dungeon. All right. Let's listen now. Why we think this is creepier.
And it's bizarre. So in today's video, let's break it down. I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation. So if that's your thing, hit subscribe. For exclusives and other cool perks, join the channel. Link in description. If you've followed my analysis of this case, you already know I think Dawn Wells, Summer's dad, is a twisted psychopath. But just in case, here's a quick clip of what he's like off camera before we analyze this new on-camera interview.
All right. This is great. Look at DD over here. Then and now. Look at this guy. I mean, they just age terribly. When you age terribly like that, it indicates a rough life. Whether that's rough, you're living outside, some people are homeless, some people just keep on taking whatever they take. Maybe they drink. I don't know what else they do, but they have not aged right. They've aged very poorly, and it also can mean a guilty conscience.
Listen to the things he considers a kidnapper might be doing to her, and ask yourself, might he be projecting things he would do to Summer onto somebody else?
Yep.
Somebody has hurt her, essentially maybe beat the fuck out of her, all these children. I always had this feeling that something was going to happen to her. I've always knew that something was going to happen to Summer.
And you guys remember that when he said, and I almost forgot this part. I've covered this case before, but he says he always thought something's going to happen to her. It's like he foreshadowed it because it was something that he did or was going to do. You call it Dawn the Con. All right, well, let's see what we think about Dawn the Con.
And then my gut has always told me, that little girl right there, I think her in the park. That
Yep.
little girl, she got a body from hell.
What? What?
He's talking about a 12-year-old girl, and he's saying she will be pregnant.
Who says
What
that?
is he revealing here? He's revealing that he thinks it's common. It's a given that people will be attracted to a 12-year-old. He's revealing that, just like he said it was probable that someone was sexually assaulting Summer,
I'm not.
he's saying it's probable that a 12-year-old girl will be pregnant.
What?
It tells us about him. There's plenty more in that video, and I'll link it on the end card if you want to watch the rest. But for now, I think you get the idea. These aren't things that we want to hear any adult saying, let alone the father of a missing little girl. All right, now that we're all acquainted with Dawn Wells, let's watch.
This weekend marks 4 years since a Hawkins County girl was last seen. 5-year-old Summer Wells was reported missing from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community on June 15th, 2021. On your left, a photo shared by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation when the Amber Alert was issued. On your right, an age-progressed photo released 2 years ago of what she may look like. News Channel 11's Ansley Daniels spoke with Summer's father, Don Wells, as the 4-year.
You know, it would be nice if those children spoke out, the ones that are no longer there. I have a feeling that these little girls and the children that he talked about, Allison, 12 years old, he was talking about, and Summer, I'm gonna probably bet more on the side of them being assaulted, the CSAM kind of assault. It seems that Don has that. I mean, why is he saying that? What is he saying? Right? All right, let's keep going. This is
earmark of his daughter's disappearance approaches.
Nearly 4 years ago, 5-year-old Summer Wells disappeared from her home here in Hawkins County. It's believed that she walked out of this door and hasn't been seen since. And today, there are still no answers as to where she could be.
It's 4 years too long. My thoughts and feelings haven't changed. I mean, it's been heartbreak. Continual heartbreak for the past 4 years.
This very yard is one of the last places Dawn Wells' daughter Summer was known to be.
We love and miss her very much and wish that she could come home very much because she was kind of the bossy boss around here, and we just miss our children, man. We had 4 children running around here like crazy.
Even if you haven't seen my other videos in the series breaking down every minute detail of that.
Yeah, he has a lot in there. You guys should go back and check out my Deception Detective playlist. When I first started covering this case, it was such a big case to tackle. I tackled it with Deception Detective. So I have a lot of coverage in my playlist if you want to go back and listen to some of those things. That way you don't have to listen for, 8 or 10 hours to get to the crazy part. Yeah, what a weirdo, man. Backwoods hillbilly. I don't want to get in trouble for saying that. But Ashton Lee, you're the Mike of yesterday. Yesterday we blamed Mike. Today we're going to blame you. What the weirdo backwoods hillbilly. Thank you. I'll take that. I'll take a thumbs up on that. I appreciate that. The monster DW admitted to SAS 5-year-old stepsister. Remember that video where she was dancing in the mud barefoot and yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I do. We played that on the for sale video. Oh my goodness. Yeah, hillbillies, no disrespect, of course. Oh my goodness. I can't say that, but Don raped his sister. So there we go. And hey, when I'm out there in the woods, I'm a hillbilly too. Am I allowed to be a hillbilly? Because I walk around with no shoes out in the dirt. All right. Yep, I said that, motherfucker, not Jay. All right. Thank you.
That property and the parents, you should already see some of the red flags for abuse and neglect. Most obviously that there was so little adult supervision that 5-year-old Summer Wells was able to simply just wander off the property without anyone knowing. Less obviously, though, is the shaved head Summer had in that clip of her on the tire swing, because that too is associated with abuse and neglect. I won't rehash why here since I've covered it in other videos in this series, and frankly, because it's just so disturbing. Finally, right at the end there, you heard Don say that they had 4 kids on the property. And that's because one of them, Summer, mysteriously vanished, and the other 3 were taken away by CPS. But it gets even worse, so let's keep watching.
Then 5-year-old has been at the center of an Amber Alert since June 15th of 2021. Crews searched the Beach Creek community for weeks, with law enforcement receiving numerous tips that never panned out.
We haven't talked to them in a long time. We let Chris and Trudy, our private detectives, deal with TBI in Hawkins County because, I don't know, anyway, it's just better that they do that.
These faded signs all throughout the Beach Creek community are a sign of hope that Summer Wells could still come home nearly 4 years after she disappeared from her home on Ben Hill Road.
It's very bad, and then when you add the social media pressure, of them saying that we're suspects or whatever, that just adds to it, and it's kind of living a nightmare.
Summer's mother, Candace, has only spoken to us on camera once. She declined to be a part.
I'm going to play that video next because I want you guys to see that and then what happened to Summer Wells. If you haven't seen the inside of the house, and I don't know if you remember that video where she brought them in, you have to climb under like a cabinet to get to whatever. I mean, that house was not fit for Summer. It was not fit for the other children, obviously, and I wish they would talk. Okay, so shaved head as a kid, of course, caused lice. I didn't even think about that. And he is creep. He is a total creep.
Part of this interview minutes before we started recording.
She wanted to, but all them fears started creeping up, of what happened, in the beginning with the social media and everything, hunting us down everywhere we go and trying to basically ruin us everywhere we go. And she's just having nightmares.
After Summer's disappearance, the Wells' 3 oldest boys were put into Department of Children's Services custody, with Dawn and Candace eventually citing their rights over.
We haven't received any updates from them, no contact. And in fact, they deleted the phone number or blocked my phone as soon as that.
There had to have been something going on, some kind of abuse with the boys. I don't know if there was any CSAM with the boys, but in the way that the son talked, and he said when there's conflict, he walks away. I bet you they did that. They took the rights away and didn't give him the number for a reason. They don't just do that, guys. It's really hard to get kids taken away and keep them away. I mean, think about Christopher Greger. Look at what Christopher Greger, the treadmill dad, did over and over and over. 100 reports still went back. They had to have done something really bad. They must have said something, and more than just your typical neglect. All right. Anna says, I do not believe Summer made it home that day. Something happened. And what about the barrel and the oil? Do you think that maybe they could have put her in a barrel with oil after she lost her life somehow? And we're never going to see her again if that's the case. Chat gets a little bit nasty now. Yeah, because we use the word hillbilly. All right, there are good and bad people. Absolutely, there are. And I don't know. There's actually a true crime channel called Hillbilly Crime or something like that. So I don't think that's a bad word. Yeah, the blue barrel, typical blue barrel. Does anyone think they'll find her? I think they might find her eventually, but I don't think she's alive.
We got done with that case and signed our children over.
And still today, one word describes their entire situation.
It's heartbreaking.
In Hawkins County, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
As I said, it gets worse, and that's because this clip showed a pattern of inconsistencies we've seen across a bunch of missing child cases, which I consider to be hoaxes, like William Turrell in Australia, Lily and Jack Sullivan in Canada, and Sebastian Rogers, also from Tennessee. In all 4 cases, we have a vulnerable kid who supposedly just wanders off into the woods. However, even the most extensive and sophisticated of search operations can't find a single trace of where they went, almost as if the kid either turned into a ninja or a Navy SEAL overnight, or they never went into the woods at all. Next, we have the mom, who was either there at the time that the kid disappeared, or was the one who noticed that the kid was gone. Yet she's not the one who does press. Instead, it's the dad who has way less information about what happened, doing all the press. Again, almost as if something weird is going on, like they don't understand that the mom would be the best one to relay information and garner sympathy from the public, or something more mundane and obvious is going on.
Oh, Candace didn't get any sympathy, and I'll show you why next. There's definitely no sympathy for her. And yeah, I gotta say that it made sense. It clicked when you said lice and shaving one's head. Although, I guess that's a thing. I don't know. I've never seen anybody that was a child that's 5 or 6, like an older child, get their head shaved. Isn't that what the lice stuff is for? Who knows? I don't know, but it's totally plausible. All right.
Like they're more interested in protecting themselves than actually soliciting help finding their kid. But the biggest red flag of all is one that we see in even more of the cases that I think are hoaxes, like Madeleine McCann, John Benet Ramsey, Madeline Soto. And it's this: the parents reserve most of their anger and vitriol and complaints for their critics, rather than the person who supposedly kidnapped their kid, or rather each other. Because after all, in all these cases, one parent was alone at the time the kid disappeared. How could they possibly know that that parent didn't do something? That's why.
Yep. There you go, Katie Proudfoot and Candace Wells. How does one have a child in their home and then they're just gone? They just walk out and they're gone. And it reminds me of Katie Proudfoot hearing the thud saying, "Go to bed," and then he was gone the next morning. Now the neighbor says, not this isn't new, but the neighbor didn't tell the cops, didn't say anything when she heard a scream, and now she wishes that she would have. All right. All right, let's keep going.
Why so many actual innocent parents of missing children, like the parents of Dylan Ayler, end up splitting up because that doubt eats at them. If my theory about what happened to Summer Wells is correct, it's the most disturbing missing child case we've ever analyzed on the channel. If you want to continue this series, let me know by liking, commenting, and sharing. Until next time, stay true.
We want to continue it because you've been covering this case so well. All right, we do have to go back and look at this though, because she hasn't come forward recently. And actually, we saw the most recent, we saw her hobbling in. We saw her hobbling in the news on the camera. She hobbled in her pajamas. This is probably the least person that's gonna get sympathy from anybody is Candace Wells, how she speaks, what she talks, and her being there and just saying she disappeared. Yeah, she does in this video, but in the last one she did. What's up, Wendy? Good to see you. Good to see. All right, let's listen up to this because this is an important part, and then we're gonna go to what the heck happened to Summer Wells, what we think, and let's look inside of that house. I think we're gonna see that next. Hit the like button, guys.
Walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here. Me and my mother and her were planting flowers.
All right, listen up, guys.
We went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her
this woman
all the way over to the porch. And I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were.
And again, look at those blue eyes. Very, very telling. Again, a lot of people take hashtag I took my meds. You take it for pain or whatever. This lady is, in my opinion, recreationally using lots of drugs. All right. And not only that, but I do think that something happened with Summer Wells where she might have gotten into there and overdosed, and then this happened. All right. Yeah. With all those dogs, nobody's sneaking around. You got family on the property. You're telling me that someone ninja, they came in with a ninja outfit right through your back door and took that little girl, Summer Wells. I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
We're watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer. I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back. And I asked the boys
2
where
minutes,
their
guys.
sister was. And
2 minutes.
They said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times. And I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone. I don't go on walks around here or runs because I'm scared of the bears and snakes and even the coyotes that are around here.
The coyotes?
Well, whoever has my daughter, I pray and hope that they have not harmed her and they bring her back to us safe and sound.
Just go to the FBI, the police, and clear it up. I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of elusive.
It's really strange that I've never seen this truck. And I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. And if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen. She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
There it is,
She tried
guys.
to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back
head
and make
herself.
it, I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad. And
there you go.
But it didn't bother her at this point.
I still think that's a lie, guys. I know parents do that for punishments, And that's what I see. If it wasn't the lice, it sure doesn't sound like. I think they're lying. Just in my opinion, I think they're lying. And I'm glad I heard about it because I'm like, why did they do that? What little girl? Yeah, two different stories. We never thought that these two were being forthcoming. And I'm really surprised that they passed the lie detector. But again, maybe not because both of them are clearly on something. All right.
Well, I knew right away that she was abducted. I knew that right away, and that's what I told them from the beginning. But they have to go through their,
Of course
I
not.
forget
Why
the
would
word.
she?
Investigation.
They have to do one step at a time, I guess. But
Look at those
I'm
eyes.
sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else.
And isn't that odd that he's sympathizing with people that are searching for his daughter? That's the last thing I would think about was, oh, those poor people are out there searching. Did they get scratched? No, I'd be thinking about my daughter and how she is, and she's hungry or she's scared. It's storytelling. It's storytelling, and they're trying to give a script here. This is their way of scripting, but they keep catching themselves in lies, or we keep catching them in lies over the years.
And I feel for them. But I just wish there was a way that neighbors could search neighbors' houses, and then if they're not willing, get a search warrant or something. But there's just no way you can search every single house, in the eastern United States or whatever. But I wish there was a way. Just thankful for the person or persons that's doing that.
Don't forget to hit the like, y'all.
Out of love,
Appreciate it.
trying to get information and trying to get her found. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
That means a lot.
And we thank everybody who's trying so hard and praying so hard. And she's an awesome young lady, and we just want her back. But,
We just
there's
want her
always going
back.
to be haters, and it's always going to be that way in this world. And we just want to focus on the good friends and Christian people that are trying to help us and praying for us and praying.
Those eyes, man, just black dots and all blue. These people are flying high is right. And who believes that? Well, if they can't find Summer Wells' body, they can't find her body. But does TBI and does anyone else really believe that Summer went to the basement and just never came out? That some ninja went into the backyard, knew exactly where to go in the backyard to get into the basement, and took Summer Wells. Is there any plausibility? And look at these parents; they don't look upset. Is that because they're flying high?
Praying for Summer, and we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. And that's the kind of people we try to relate with and socialize with. So we don't know anything about, no red truck, or we hardly know many of our neighbors. I mean, because we just try to be around good people. I mean, and we do have good people in this area. We found out since this has all happened. We got some real good neighbors and good folks everywhere. But
the most important thing is to bring Summer home safe.
Damn,
I'm sorry that you feel this way about us, but we love our children with everything we have.
Oh, it's not enough, lady.
We've never went without. Thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around, ever.
She loves
know what she's talking about? I don't think so. Yeah, I believe that the other children got taken away because they abused those children. It is absolutely ridiculous just listening to them. So don't worry, we're going to get on to the next thing. We're going to take a look inside the house, guys.
To dance. She would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl." And she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl until my arm got tired. Yeah. But I put out there that one of Summer's favorite songs was
You're high as a
Godzilla, and they
kite,
say, you
guys.
know, and they're jumping all over me about past tense was, you know, well, I'm sorry about that. It's just,
She also liked the song by New Breed. It was called House. My House.
They both just used her in the very past tense. He literally is telling us what happened, and then she jumps in and talks about, oh yeah, she used to like this music. I mean, these people can't get it straight. I don't know how they can't get it straight, and they're lying and nothing's happened. This is just, I mean, come on. I don't know. I don't know if we're ever gonna find her little body. Look at Harmony Montgomery.
She sung that a lot of times when I play it on the TV. She loved to dance.
There you go. She
liked
loved
to
to
think
dance.
of herself as a princess, and,
Past tense.
you know, and all that, like all young girls do. And
She loved Frozen. She loved to be that
Too messed
Elsa and
I think she really loved to be in church because she felt a lot of love there. And I think you can't explain what that love is, but you feel it and you know it, you know, when you're young. And she felt that there, and she loved everybody in that church, or she loves everybody in that church. I should rephrase that because they'll
you're using
tear
it in
that
the
apart
past
as
tense.
past tense. And I apologize again for that. I hope she gets to come home, you know, and I hope she gets to be with her church family again.
our best friend in that church was Robin. She loved her to death.
Yeah, she looked
Loved.
up to
When
women that were.
she come to that church,
They know, both of those parents know damn well that she's never coming home alive. I absolutely believe when I look at Candace and see how freaking out of it, she's beyond out of it. She's very messed up. I mean, she's way, at least Dawn's a little more coherent. She just is out of it. Can you imagine Summer being with this lady in the house, crawling under all that stuff, which we'll see next? This is just bad. No wonder they got their children all taken away.
she went looking for Robin. That was her favorite person.
Any woman that was professional, that
Was pretty,
yeah,
beautiful.
she looked up to those kind of women. She, you know, they were the word I'm looking for, I can't think of it. But
Not like her
she looked
mother.
up to them.
To anybody that's
She'd
not
give them a
like
run for
her.
their money every
Look at
day.
her.
She'd give them a run for their money, and there was times, you know, we'd be, you know, that our boys like, don't do this and don't do that. And next thing you know, a stick would come up and just whop them, you know, and it'd be like, Summer, don't do that. You
Summer
know?
was the boss of the family.
He was the boss of
When they
the
get out of
family.
line, she'd put them in line.
She'd do her best.
She'd love to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
When I run the lawnmower around, she would run behind me. When the boys run their bikes around, she, as fast as that little bike could go, she would be behind them running and keeping up with them, no problem. You know, she loved to run. She just loved to run.
All
She
past
could pull
tense,
herself
guys.
up on that swing, her full body.
I mean, this whole interview is past tense. He's corrected himself twice and said the media is going to pick him apart. This is crazy. I'll tell you this in a minute when this was. This was one of the first interviews they had. So probably 4 years ago. All right.
Body weight with her two hands. And she could do that. None of the other boys could do that, but she can.
Was she at school yet?
No,
No.
she's going this year.
This was supposed to be her first year. of
She's been,
kindergarten.
we did all the, what?
I took care of everything.
Yeah.
I had her already taken all of her shots and registered in the school for ready for this year.
So bad.
I just never expected for anyone to get a hold of my heart like she has, because I try to guard my heart as much as I can, but she holds my heart in her little hands. And I love her with all my heart. I mean, I'd do anything to have her back. If there's any way, if you can find it in your heart to please release her somehow, I don't know how you might do that. I mean, 'cause you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure. But please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go, and where we can get her back. And just please have mercy on her, and
I don't think they sold her. I do think that something happened to her while either she got a hold of Summer Wells got a hold of something in that house, or maybe some level of abuse with Candace, but more than likely something happened to her in that house and they had to get rid of her. All right? That's what I believe. And TBI, man. That's all I'm going to say about that.
You know, and us and her brothers. And she's such a loving, good spirit. Please, please don't hurt her. Please let her come home.
Who are you talking to, Don?
That she's my biggest fear is, you know, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved
Man,
to be outside all the time. That was her, unfortunately, her, you know, her downfall. 'Cause a lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, "Where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? You know, go get Summer now." You know, and that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person. And
She loved to be outside.
You know, and I'm so afraid that she's locked away. She's such a loving heart and everything. And I'm afraid that she won't be able to, you know, I'm locked away where she can't be outside or play with a puppy or anything, love nature, you know.
Interesting.
You know, and that's my greatest fear, that she's not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly, you know.
Boy, does he talk a lot and makes a lot of assumptions. Yeah, justice for Summer Wells. It's been 4 years since she's been gone, and these parents don't get any more believable. Don gets creepier and creepier. He does look like a pedo, man. I gotta tell you, if he really did grape his sister like somebody said, then more than likely he was abusing Summer, and I'm sure he was physically abusing his boys. I don't know to what extent. All right, it's bad, way worse than Maddie Soto.
I don't want to think she's dead, but
Yeah,
it's a
right.
possibility.
Your greatest fear, my
I don't
ass.
want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive,
And find her
because
daughter.
it's so easy to get, you know, lost in that negativity and stuff, and it's just not worth it. So I'm just, I appreciate y'all, the good things you say, and your prayers. That's awesome.
When my sister went missing, I was in between Arkansas and Tennessee. I don't know all of what happened or what did happen.
What? What are you
But I
saying?
hope that they find her too and bring her home safely too.
Well, yeah, there's nothing. I mean, she disappeared without a trace. They haven't found anything, haven't found a body, nothing. And you know, when you see cases,
There's another one. They haven't found a body or anything. Yeah, what? I mean, what can you do if you don't have her body? What can you do? I don't know. I don't know why nothing's happened. The children got taken away, so there's something. I that's what I'm saying. They don't have anything to lock them up. Obviously, there's no body. They took the other children away. Now what's left? All right, this is the end. We're
like
gonna go
that, that's
south.
why I lose hope on Summer. You know, I want to keep hope, but sometimes I lose hope,
Lose it.
and I think, well, maybe we won't never see her again. You know, so I start thinking in past tense. Sorry, but I'm trying to keep hope up. I'm trying to keep my prayers up and all that.
They don't even care. They're just like it is what it is. All right, let's take a look inside the house, because that's important. We've been talking about it, and it's like that needs to be documented for sure. All right, I want to even look at it again. It's been some time. I have not visited or revisited this case. So this is the guy from the interview room on News Nation. They're going to show inside the house. This guy from the interview room is great. The way he covers Emily Pike and the way he covers Summer Wells, all that. Great job.
They have denied any involvement. They say that she was abducted. They have passed a polygraph test. At this point, the sheriff is saying anything's on the table. All people are persons of interest. But has the public jumped to conclusions too soon on these parents without the evidence to back this up?
Don't forget to hit the like.
Yeah, I think everybody is innocent till proven guilty for sure. And at this point, there are just, as your reporter has, pointed out, Brian, that there's just too many moving parts here. There are a couple of theories that still, need to be nailed down. And obviously the authorities don't have those pieces yet.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to the property, Chris. You spent some time there on the family's property. You went inside the house. You went into.
Yeah, there's a really long interview that he had too. It's like 49 minutes. He sat down with the Wells and the family. You guys should check that out on the interview room. It's great. It's too long for me to play, but let's take a look inside the house.
You saw inside this home.
So this is Candace showing me essentially where the boys were sitting. They were sitting right there at that table, looking at that TV, playing video games. Summer went down into the basement. She's pointing to this, table here that has basically a crawl space into it. And down into that crawl space goes down into the parents' and Summer's room. So I asked her if she would take me down there. She did. And so we crawl through there.
So now, can I stop you real quick, Chris? Because so this is the only way to get to Summers and the parents' room is through this crawl space.
Right. This is the way she said Summer went into that basement.
Why did they have it set up like that?
She said, why?
That is a great question. I don't have that answer.
Okay. Continue.
So we get down there, and of course, this is Summer's room here that you're seeing. All of the items in the back corner belong to Summer. There's a mattress on the floor, the 2 bunk beds, the windows are.
You think that's why? Yeah, it's like a dungeon. That's why they got the other children taken away. It's awful. She has to go down backwards. You have to crawl through a hole. What, you think it's really safe down there? Yeah, Chris, not into Chris. Sorry. Yeah, he does talk slow, but I like the way I like the way how deep he gets into it. This does get creepier. This is just, if you haven't seen this, it's a few more minutes to see inside the house.
Secured with reflective type of materials. And so you can tell this is, it's pretty, pretty striking pretty quickly for a 5-year-old to be in this environment.
Chris, the other 3 boys, Summer's brothers, were removed from the home, taken into protective custody. Are they key to understanding anything in this case and her disappearance? Is there a chance that they are able to shine some light on what may have happened?
From my opinion as retired investigator, they would be, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And in terms of the parents and their past, that has also been something that is much talked about. Candace filed for an order of protection against her husband, Don, saying that she was afraid of being hurt. She was afraid for those kids. That was likely part of why they were removed from the home. How do investigators take that information and also anything the kids might know and try to piece this puzzle together?
Yeah, Marty, that's a great question. So, with a 5-year-old child, obviously time is of the essence. So the first officer on the scene.
Now you guys are getting a good idea of all the visuals. We've been talking about it, and you see the house. Some people haven't seen the house ever, so I was showing that. And then some people say the church is creepy. There's the church there, and that looks like the boy that we saw earlier on that site, Josie. All right, so let's take a look at that. Take a look in there. I think you think there's an outside door. He went down that way because she was showing him the way Summer would have gone. All right, 11 more likes, guys, and we're going to give a Foxy box away after this. We only have 155 people here. Let's get the numbers up. Hit the like button. That helps to get my content into the algorithm, all right? We're not done yet. Let's keep going.
Quickly wants to assess who had last contact, what were those conditions in relationship to that contact, how much time has elapsed before the last person saw the child. And so immediately you want to start talking to the parents and you want to try to separate them. And as you go along, trying to get the information initially about the child, then the parent's background becomes significant in relationship to an investigative process as more resources are arriving on the scene.
Chris, police say that there was no evidence of foul play, yet they issued an Amber Alert. How can they be so sure?
Well, that's a great question. The investigative process is still, ongoing. It could be an accident. It could be, something, an intentional act of some sort. I think the investigators, and we heard Sheriff Lawson even say today, that everything is still on the table.
You have been in contact with the parents, Don and Candace. Are you still in touch with them now?
Not currently, no.
What's the deal with this red truck? It is potentially a piece of this puzzle. Have you heard anything about the truck? Has it led to any evidence or information for investigators?
Well, at this point, TBI has reported that the red truck, they want to try to contact that individual who may have been driving. There is a witness who is really vague about whether it was around the area on the 14th or the 15th. So it could have been the day before or the day of.
All right, so we're going to get into the rest of the stuff. I do appreciate Chris, but sometimes it's just, I just wanted to show you the inside of the house. All right, the basement. Let's take a look real quick. If you guys just got over here, I'm going to just quickly pop back on there and show you that people are saying the children got taken away, and I think you might have missed the beginning portion of it. And thank you, Tiff, for sending this over. Here's a statement that they made about the children. All right, so I believe that's probably, it's Don Wells that says, "Let's be clear, we were told to sign the boys to the state. We did not do it willfully. We did not cut a deal. We have been counseled to allow the state of Tennessee to do what the law states. We cannot speak about Wyatt and Waylon right now, but Josie should be sent home. We expect him any day now. This is all about Summer. Our boys have suffered beyond words. They lost everything: their church, pastor, friends, home, pets, teachers, family, and so much more. The world may have witnessed our emotional collapse after Summer disappeared. I didn't see any emotional collapse, so I don't know. But vindication of no abuse and neglect is now legally declared. So no, we did not toss out our boys. What we signed was based on the case that has been proven invalid." Don Wells. All right. So if you guys just came in right now, their children are all gone, and we see the one child now that is this one that we showed. Hold on, where did that go? Tiff, right here. We saw Josie. Let me pull that down. Let me just show you one more time. This is their oldest son on the site that they're trying to adopt out. Not them, but Tennessee. So there's Josie there. That's the oldest. Josie's got a Tennessee 01 number 264-58301, and Josie is being adopted out. Meet Josie. He loves exploring in the woods and looking for his forever family. So there you go. He is not going back to the Wells family. All right. He's not going back. And I don't think he wants to go back, guys. I don't think he might be old enough, but would you want to go back to that home where everybody is mourning or whatever's happening? And with abusive parents, we did hit 160. So we are going to give out a Foxy box at the end of this. So stay here. All you have to do is be so hit the like, comment, and I think you have to be green. In the green, you have to be a guilty of crime crew member. There's the oldest son, right? So I'm going to pull this down. I do want to take a look at this initial. We're going to go back, and then we will give that away after this. So if you just came in, kids are taken away. Summer still hasn't been found. This is what happened to Summer Wells. All right. Missing, 5 years old. Let's go back a little.
Spoke to WJHL. They shared the interview with us, explained what happened the moment, the day that Summer Wells was last seen and when she went missing. Listen closely.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers. And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch.
She's like,
and
wait,
I
what
watched her
happened?
walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer. I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back. And I asked the boys where their sister was. And they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times. And I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone.
Just gone.
All right, a couple things, right? So she walks into the house, goes into the kitchen. The boys say she goes downstairs to the playroom, and then Mom comes back in 2 minutes. Now, she might be estimating it. She might not be exactly right, but she comes back very quickly, and she's gone.
Interesting.
I mean, it happened that fast, according to Candace Wells, Summer's mom. So let's go back to the scene. I want to show you a photo first. This is a photo of the house. Let's take a close look at this, because when I first heard this story, and if we could drop the letters on the bottom so we get a clear look at everything. You look at the house here, and I looked at the house, and when I
And what do you guys see about the house? At first, I saw a house from afar that looked decent. You can't see much. You see the windows open, but then you look at it closer, and it looks like it's hazardous. Some of the wall is missing, glass is missing, it's boarded up. And that story of not only is it a nasty house that probably has mold in it and things that will cut children, going around having to crawl down into something. But that story is just ridiculous. They later go on and interview the grandma. Nothing really else comes out. They all kind of just stick to I think she walked out and somebody took her from the backyard. Nothing that they're saying is helping anybody's situation, not even them. And their children got taken away.
first heard that she went downstairs, I was wondering, is there a door? Is it a walkout basement? But as you can see from the cinder blocks, it's not deep enough. There is no door. There are some windows on the bottom, but the back door, that's the back door. So if she goes in the front and Mom is hanging out around the front or somewhere out there, and she exits the home, it would have to be through that door, because in this shot you can see it almost looks like there's doors over there on the basement, but it's not. Those are windows. So the only door is over there, which looks like the back door. Let me bring in our special guest joining us as we take a look at these pictures and think about what happened here. Joseph Scott.
Oh, yes. We love Joseph Scott Morgan. Look at that backyard, too. We're going to show that, and it's going to show it in a second. But Joseph Scott Morgan is great. They're saying that someone came up from that back hill and took her. I think that's what they're trying to say. They keep saying a little bit different each time. And yet they're not arrested, and nobody's been arrested, and there are no people of interest.
Morgan is with us, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, former senior investigator for the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office, and forensics media analyst. Also joining us in Chicago, Illinois, private investigator Erica Morse. Great to see you both. Joseph Scott Morgan, gone, like not in the yard. She's got to be in the woods somewhere.
Yeah, it all depends on points of entry in this dwelling. If that is the single point of entry, and the one that the mother would suspect that she would have to exit from, you can see the large wooded area to the rear.
Yep.
So my thought is this, Finn. One of the things that I'm kind of toying with, was there somebody that potentially had gained access to the interior of the house that may perhaps have been lying in wait for this little girl, that had access to her, that had identified her, maybe over a protracted period of time. Maybe they were watching through the woods just to see if they had an opportunity. And once maybe perhaps they made entrance into the house, they could have snatched her at that point, or they could have waited until she exited. I think one of the keys here is observance and collection of any kind of physical evidence within that dwelling that cannot be associated with anyone or tied back to anyone that is domiciled there. Any kind of stranger DNA that might be in there, say for instance, touch DNA that has been left behind. Of course, that would mean that the scene would have had to have been secured and that they could have tested for it at that moment in time.
Erica, your thoughts about the initial part?
That's an interesting concept there, written in the stars. Written in the stars says, I don't think Dawn or Candace had anything to do with Summer's disappearance. I think CPS is who took Summer that day. That's interesting because I wonder what they would have done with her, and would they have had exhaustive search efforts and not told anybody? Zolly went in their house and he's even, I'm sure it was, they didn't show all the little dips on that one in the house. I've seen other video and it is pretty bad. All right. I really think Candace is slow and Dawn takes advantage of it. Man, what happened to Summer Wells?
Part of the story that within 2 minutes, she's out of that house. It seems to me she would have had to have gone out the back door, because I think if she went out the front door, someone would have seen her. So if she snuck out the back and was an adventurous 5-year-old, she had to make a beeline for the wooded area.
Correct. And I think if she had left on her own, I think she would have been found by now. There would have been some indication of that. Remember, they are still looking for a Toyota Tacoma in regards to this situation. So this really does feel planned to me in some way or another. The property itself is very rural. I don't see this more as a crime of opportunity. I see this as somebody, like was already said, where someone was either lying in wait or identified that a child was in the house, because I just don't think there was enough time for someone to have inadvertently driven up, walked up, grabbed her, and gone. Mom's passed a polygraph test. That is fantastic. So now they've ruled her out in that regard. They can start spreading a little bit further. I am also equally encouraged by the fact that Texas EquiSearch is involved, or I'm sorry, Midwest EquiSearch, and they're
Now it is a crime to hide somebody or do something like the Gone Girl situation, right? Sherry Papini, where she acted like she was kidnapped and then came back. She's being held accountable for pulling a hoax and using the money and them using money to look for her. So it would be a crime if CPS did take Summer and nobody knew about it. Hence, it would still be a crime. All right. So where is Summer? Where is Summer?
good. They're really good at what they do, and they have a lot of different technology to use. And so I think that their focus is probably going to be that wooded area and some others.
Yeah, they're coming in over the weekend. Let's take a look at a really wide shot to give you another perspective here, Joseph.
There it is, guys.
As you can see where the house is, there are no neighbors there. There's no neighbors. And that arrow, again, is pointing to that same door that we've been pointing to in the other pictures. I just look at so isolated, Joseph, so isolated. That's what is so striking to me.
Yeah, it is. And this is one of the things regarding what Heather had stated, that this is, in my opinion at least, a planned event. This is not something where she's in a large metropolitan area. Someone would have, first off, would have had.
Right. There's a better view from behind the house where that would have had to happen. Someone had to come back through there. Now, I don't think the brothers would have known. I think if the brothers knew, especially children, right, would have something like that heavy on their mind, they might have said something. I mean, I think the brothers could have been in another part in the house, and something could have happened down in the basement with Candace and Summer, or maybe something with Candace, Summer, or Dawn, or who knows, or maybe just Summer and she OD'd and they never knew. Maybe they took her to another part. Maybe they put her in a barrel. We don't know. Yeah, it's like Jack and Lily minus they have two of them, which is very rare, right? That's an anomaly. So no, and I have not been to Nashville. I'd love to go to Nashville or Memphis, either one. All right, let's keep going. You get a better view of the house. Out here, there's a death trap right in front. So we'll say she came from the back or the side.
Had to have known that this residence was back there. So as an investigator, you begin to think about that. Who would have access to this area? Who would know how to get there? Who would know the points of entry and exit, and where they could make their way through there without being seen? So it requires some indwelling knowledge and familiarity with that specific area. I hope that the wooded area around there was kind of locked down. The reason is if there was a point where an observable point where an individual could have been laying in wait, for instance, they may have stayed there for a while. And as a result of that, they could have left evidence in that specific area, say cigarette butts, candy wrappers, footprints, anything like that. So it has to be thoroughly searched.
But yeah, like I said, Jack and Lily 2.0, you guys. It's, I mean, very similar situation, except there's one child, but everywhere you look, a child could get hurt out there. And then you go in the house and you see the hoarder chaos, and then something could have happened inside. Do I think some ninja came from the backyard and was waiting for Summer? Absolutely not. Abso-freaking-lutely not. All right, let's get this going.
Searched. And that's the key to all of this. I agree. I don't think she just wandered off in a straight line and left. Remember, she's barefooted, Ben. She's not going to make it very far. She might be just sitting in the woods crying in the short period of time. I think somebody got their hands on her.
Okay, Erica, if someone is lying in wait, and we're looking at all these incredible images that we're getting to really get an idea of what this area is like, what's the escape? How do they escape? Do they park down on this road and then walk up and wait in that wooded area around the house? How do you get from, okay, there's a little girl alone in the house, or steps out of the house, I grab her, and then I get completely out of the area, and no one sees me?
Well, we don't know who made the tip or the report regarding the Toyota Tacoma. And that would be a key aspect to me looking at this from an investigative standpoint, because where that Toyota Tacoma was spotted could tell us whether or not somebody was lying in wait potentially. They have not said if this is a witness or a suspect or a person of interest, I should say. And so the location of where that vehicle was seen that is of such keen interest to investigators is something I would really be interested to know. Because if it was a mile away, then some.
Do any of you believe that there was a vehicle that they saw, and who said that? I think it's more plausible to hear a scream. Now, the neighbor seemed pretty dang far to have heard a scream, so that would had to have been a really loud scream or really bad, like something really, really bad happened. Yeah, I've always looked at the parents as suspect. You say both parents are suspect. I wonder about the learned behavior within the household. 5 years old, 12 years old, significant part in Don's life, per his own statements and those of his sister. Yeah, I don't think anybody really believes that some ninja in a Toyota Corolla came along.
Someone had to potentially grab Summer and walk or dart. That's why you always start at that last known location and work your way out. 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, 4 mile, 5 and 6. Because there is, again, there's physical evidence that can be found in those locations if somebody is kind of stuck. And I recall Dad saying from his previous interviews that he wished they had cornered off or locked down that area sooner. I do remember him getting very upset because that area had been almost not locked down enough. And so I think there's a concern that somebody could have waited and gotten out. And again, I would go back to the location of where that vehicle was allegedly spotted, because if it was too close to the house, that could be a getaway vehicle.
All right, we've got 2 more angles of the house that I want to put up on the screen as we continue to examine the scene of where all this took place.
All right, we got a few more minutes to just take a look, think back. We came in hot with some new information, renewed. I don't even think they have new search efforts, just new information coming from the 4-year mark. And the new information is just, coming from the parents. They're missing her. The town's talking about her. We're talking about her. I don't think there's any new leads or anything, so to speak, not that I've heard of. If any of you know that are local, let me know about that. Now we're just taking a cruise back, looking at the house and re-going over the case. Yes, we still know nothing. After this, we're going to give away a Foxy box, y'all. So don't forget, hit the like button, comment in there, and make sure you have your membership ready. Okay, thank you. It helps support the channel, and Foxy's helping support the channel by giving the Foxy boxes away. So thank you.
And again, we're going to look here at the house, and again, the red arrow going to that back door that we're looking at. And you can see on the other side of the house, there's a little mobile unit there. That is, on this part, it's off to the right. But as you look there, I guess you could make a quick exit and not necessarily be seen because the woods are relatively close, and it's that small window of time. What are your thoughts in speaking with witnesses through the years on their ability to accurately kind of remember concepts of time? Because Mom said, within 2 minutes. Joseph, do you think it was actually 2 minutes? Do you think it was could have been 10 minutes? Do you think it could have been less time? How accurate generally are witnesses when they recall a time period like that?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do, Ben, is remember this: the initial information came in vis-a-vis the brothers, and so that's what mom had said, at least, and so that's important to kind of peg them down relative to when they actually last saw her, and how do they measure time in their young minds? Exactly, how do you put a measure on
There you
this?
go.
So you have to do this in kind of a plus or minus fashion here. Also, relative to access and how quickly could you make your way out of there? Now, if it's a frenetic environment, disorganized, maybe mom doesn't always have accountability relative to the kids. It's out in the country. You know, kids can just roam and rip and roar and that sort of thing. I know I did that when I was young. Mom might not remember specifically. And as you go down this timeline, as you move down linear time away from that critical point, memory.
Yeah, who knows what she was on at the time? Her 2 minutes could have been much longer than that. Now, there are no new leads that we know about that they've come out about, but they are looking at the case again. A new set of eyes would be helpful, but for some reason, I have a feeling that this is going to be a Harmony Montgomery type of case where whatever they did with her at 5 years old, it's been 4 years, guys. So if she is no longer with us, which I don't think she is, where do you start looking for a body in that area where they haven't already looked? I just don't know. It's just
Memories become very faded. That's why it was very, very important for law enforcement to get to her as expeditiously as possible and grab that kernel of current information, because as time goes along, it'll begin to layer and her memory will change over a period of time. So you have to go back to those initial statements and check them for the veracity.
Erica, what are your thoughts about the boys and their recollection of what they saw, what they heard, and how you can get information from someone that is young?
First of all, they would have brought in, I'm sure, someone specialized in talking with an.
And now they're talking about the brothers. So, and this is why I say I don't think the brothers knew anything or heard anything, because we would probably have gotten something out by now. But I'm sure it did come out. Maybe they were abusive. They did take the children away permanently. And you're very welcome, Jennifer Blair. I wanted to cover this yesterday, but I got caught up in the case where there's some new things. So, Gloria, you have a wonderful day as well. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow at 4 p.m. We have an episode tomorrow that is going to be up to date about Travis Decker that I really, really want to share with you. Get it out there and talk about some of the new information in that case and the areas that they're looking for Travis Decker, and talk about the little girls, the 3 Decker sisters. That's tomorrow. So stay tuned. We're almost done here, and then we're going to give away a Foxy box. So you got to comment, hit the like, and be in green.
Interviewing children. Is definitely someone with a social service background in conjunction with law enforcement, who is perhaps someone with a child forensic psychology background, who could really extract that information properly, because children do perceive time differently than adults do. They may not even be watching a clock. I believe I may have read a report about video games being involved. That can easily distort time. So you would want somebody who specializes in understanding how to ask the questions of these children, depending upon their ages, and how to get them to recollect things more accurately. Additionally, something I wanted to note, the number one challenge that any parent of a missing child has reported to me throughout the years is the ability to accurately remember time. Once a parent is told that their child is missing, time stops. And so nailing down that timeline can be challenging. When you hear something like 2 minutes, it could be 15,
Right.
It could be 5 or 10. It's hard to determine. I think that they're probably doing the best they can, and getting to mom as quickly as possible was a key aspect of this. Interviewing those brothers and nailing down just to the millisecond, honestly, is going to make all the difference in the world. But time is something that is very difficult when a family is in shock mode.
All right. And as Erica mentioned, Midwest EquiSearch will be there this weekend. So we'll see if there's any updates that happened, and we're going to stay on.
Right now, this was 3 years ago, guys. We just went back. I mean, we can sit here for hours going over things, but we're not. Today, we're talking about Summer Wells, 4 years gone, you guys. All right. So we wanted to document the case, remember what's happening, and keep looking for Summer Wells. It's really hard to move on to other children when you see this case didn't get, well, it got the attention, but we still don't know what happened to Summer Wells. All right. So yeah, I do believe it's similar. I call the Jack and Lily case Summer Wells 2.0. All right, now we're going to give away a Foxy box. The brothers, they didn't make a statement what the brothers had to say because they're children. And most of the time they don't give up the names and information that children give. They keep that close to the vest. So I don't know if we're going to know and when, but you're absolutely April from Illinois. Thank you for the love. Sherlock Homegirl, I love your name. ICU. You're absolutely welcome. I can't wait until tomorrow when we have new information in the Travis Decker case. And then next week, everybody listen up. Claire Bell. We need to cover the Claire Bell case. It's an active case. Claire Bell was brought home, but the mother is now arrested, and I'm hoping they upgrade the charges for Claire Bell. I don't know if you guys heard of that case. Let me know if you have or you haven't. I posted it yesterday. Plunder came out with some video, which I have the TikTok that I'm going to show you, and we're going to put together a good timeline of what happened. I do want to show you this real quick. I may drop this for just a second because I want you all to know what the heck I'm talking about. Real quick, or should I say quickly, Claire Bell. I don't want you to drop off yet. I am going to give away the Foxy box, but I just want you to see what I'm referring to. We posted this case yesterday. 3-year-old Claire Bell was missing, last seen 6/14, and this was also in Canada, guys. And her mother had parked near a business off Highway 20 and entered barefoot, claiming she lost her child. Well, guess what? Claire was found in the same spot, a little bit farther. They found this little girl, but they found that the mom not only dropped the dog off, but dropped her off. And they found, and they know. So now she's charged. So I really want to go over this because she is going to, at some point, if she doesn't plea, we're going to see this lady in court. This, who drops a little girl off like that, you guys? Yes, thank God. But who does that? Did you? And when they found her, she had a black eye. Her eye was almost all the way swollen shut. So if you take a look at, oh, you didn't post that picture. We don't. Let me see. There it is. There's the picture of them finding her. And if you look closely right there, this little girl has a black eye. It's almost swollen shut, you guys. Take a look at that. They found her on the side of a highway walking, but look at her. She's obviously dirty, filthy. You can tell she's had accidents on herself, and her eye is swollen shut. I'm pretty sure you guys want to know who did this to her. And I'm going to tell you, right? So we're going to go over this. I want you to just kind of know the cases that I have upcoming. And when they're new, when there's new content, of course, I'm going to continue covering the Madeline Soto case. But absolutely, she peed herself. I don't know what happened to her eye. This mother is a POS on TikTok. All right, guys, you guys are ready to win something. Enough about children missing, children being abused, missing children. Man, this is what we do every day with each other, right? We're dedicated to finding the justice for those that need the eyes. All right, so let's go now. We're going to do this. We're going to have a little bit of fun, give away a Foxy box. Let me see if they make me sign in. Good luck to you all. All right, come on, stop spinning. At least it was at the end of the show. All right, let me close some of my windows here and see if that helps. I hope this is working. It's just spinning, guys. You're very welcome. Good to see you. Yes, we want to arrest Jen Soto. I don't know why this isn't working. Let me refresh it real quick. Foxy, I can't get it. I don't have my phone either. I let we'll call Baby Guilty. Baby Guilty took my phone, so I don't have a phone. I can't see what you all are saying. But for some reason this is not working. Let me it's just spinning and spinning, guys. I wish I could do something about that. Let me try something else. Hold on. 1 second. Oh, hold on. Go back. Did it stop spinning? No? Okay, hold on. We had a beautiful show, and now at the very end, look at what happened. All right, I'm trying to find the link to this. And this whole thing is giving me trouble. All right. There's still nothing, guys. It timed out. Uh-oh. Look at that. You see what it says? Gateway timeout. What in the heck? All right, let's try this again. My browser's working, but this isn't working. Am I still? Can you guys even see me? All right. I can do anything I want, guys, but it's still not working. It doesn't matter if I clear it. It's just not working, y'all. All right, let me try it again. It's just spinning. It's the app. It is the app, you guys. I can't like I tell my family, I cannot fix these apps. It's just the app. It's not working, y'all. All right, what would you guys like me to do? What do you propose? Because that app, and it's just that app, is not working. It's just spinning and spinning. So any suggestions would be great. Everything else works except for that one. All right, guys. So I don't want to sit here too long. I will do this tomorrow. If you guys can come tomorrow, I am so sorry that this app is not working. Everything else is. I apologize. I mean, I could give memberships away, but let's see. Let's see if I can give some memberships away. All right. No, that is not what I want to do. You always have a look at that. All right, it's just not working. So I'll just give some memberships away, and then tomorrow you guys come 4 p.m. I mean, I can. You guys want me to pick? Okay, so listen. If I do this right now, we can do 2 Foxy boxes tomorrow. And let's see. What about my book? You should get a copy of my book. I think you'd really like it. Does anyone have a link to that? I can find a link to it and then give away some memberships. Everything's working except that. Let me post it up real quick. Reason 111. That's a good book for Pride Month anyway. All right. Reason 111 is called Why I'm Gay. I'm just coming out again. Yeah, see, that's working. What the heck? All right, we're going to give away 2, but let me just put this up here for you. Let me copy this link and put it here. I think a lot of you guys do need my book. I agree. I did write a book. There's the link. It's on Amazon. It's called Reason 111 Why I'm Gay, which is perfect for this holiday, for this Pride Month. We should call it holiday. Isn't today June 19th? It's a bank holiday. All right, so I dropped a link. If you go onto Amazon, you can look that up. Let me give away some memberships, and then tomorrow when you come, then you'll be gifted a membership and you'll have more of a chance to win a Foxy box. All right, so I'm gifting memberships. I'm sorry I couldn't give out the box. I just gifted 5 memberships. 5 more people will have a membership, and you'll be able to enter to win. All right, so there you go. 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. Tomorrow we will give away 2 Foxy boxes, and we're gonna cover the Travis Decker content updates. I have a lot for you planned tomorrow. And if you guys want to do a call-in, tomorrow is Friday night. We can absolutely do call-ins about the Decker case. All right. So there you go. 5 Guilty of Crime memberships, 2 Foxy boxes tomorrow, and a very happy Juneteenth to you guys. Go over there, hang out, celebrate, get some rest. We'll be back tomorrow and we'll be giving more stuff away. Yes, it's a bummer, but go check out Reason 111 Why I'm Gay on Amazon. It's a coming out story. It's my story coming out, but I tell things like I see them, and I throw in some humor. All right. And I'm glad you got a membership. That means you have a chance to win tomorrow. All right, guys, hit the like button and share on your way out with your community. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'm out.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?